Hey, welcome. I'm Kaitlyn, if you haven't taken class with me before. I'll just be honest, since we've been in, I don't know, shelter in place, quarantine, whatever this situation we're in right now, since I get to pick what we do in every yoga class that I've been taking, I've been doing like a lot of backbending practices. So we're going to do that today, but we're going to do that. And when I say backbend, it doesn't have to be this like big wheel, just anything that creates a little bit of extension and opening in the spine. So we're not trying to cram anything open or like jam anything into place or pry it open. You're going to pick your, like, listen to your body and pick your own edges as you go. You're looking for length and extension over curve. And if you can see my spine, we've got curve in the low back, and we want to keep that curve as steady as possible throughout the class. So sometimes what happens is we stick our tailbone out and our rib cage out, and when I do this, I feel a lot of tension in my low back. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find more control in my core. Like, when in doubt, use your core muscles. And then that lets me get more opening across my chest and squeeze my scapula or my shoulder blades together on my back. So work with that. We're going to start lying down. If you have a blanket, go for it. I'm going to roll my yoga mat up. And again, you're looking for the roll. You can do a full roll or a half roll. I'm going to do about half my yoga mat. You want the roll to land just under the bottom tips of your shoulder blades. So I usually like to start up a little bit higher. Above the shoulder blades, press into my feet, wiggle back, and then cactus your arms so it's like two goal posts if we ever get football again. And breathe. We're going to be here for a couple minutes, so take time to set yourself up. If it's comfortable, you can extend the knees straight. It might also feel interesting to stretch the arms up overhead or bend the elbows in a little closer to the waistline. And either close the eyes or have a soft gaze. Just gonna check to see if anyone else tuned in. Hi. Okay. So notice even here, if your tendency is to resist the prop underneath you and start to lift your low back away from the floor, can you stay neutral in that low back? And notice if the head starts to wander. Alignment yoga can be good for those of us that like a task to stay on focus. And if the task becomes overwhelming, let it go. Just do your yoga. And then bend the knees. Roll onto one side, get rid of the props underneath you, come back onto your back. Cactus the arms. We're going to do eagle legs. So keep your left foot on the yoga mat, right thigh crosses over the left like you're sitting cross-legged. Some of you can take your right toes and wrap them around your left ankle. If that bothers your knee even a little bit, don't mess with it. And then scooch your hips over a little to the right, let your shins lift up and roll to the left. So you're in a big twist. And you can kind of press into your left arm to lift the shoulders up off the yoga mat and then settle them back down so you can get right shoulder or like right upper back on the ground a little bit more. Remember, everything we do should be pain-free. So if you're in pain, come out of it. We can talk about it afterwards. Go ahead, bring the legs back to center. You've got your cactus arms. You're gonna bring the forearms parallel with one another over your chest, and then eagle arms. So bring the right arm under the left. Some of you will just grab your hand, bring your hands to your shoulders. Some of you will bring the backs of your hands to touch, or some of you will bring your palms to touch. And then from here, keep pressing that low back long. Crunch in, elbows in towards knees, and re-extend. So move in a slow and controlled motion. It's not like killer core work. You're just starting to wake up the core a little bit so you can use it later to help you protect that low back. And then unravel yourself, cactus the arms. Notice what it feels like to not be a pretzel right now. Left thigh comes over the right. Press into the right foot, shift hips to the left. Double wrap the toes around the right ankle if you like. Shins over to the right. Try to keep some connection of the left arm down to the ground. So for me to do that, I have to really press into my left forearm, scooch my left and right shoulders over to the right, and my legs don't come quite as far down. Squeeze the inner thighs. Use your core to bring the legs back to center. Left arm under the right, eagle arms, crunch in, knees to elbows, re-extend. And the more you extend, the harder it's going to be to crunch back in. So you can temper that. If it starts to feel like that low back is doing all of the wiggling, don't lower the legs as far down. Eagle arms are going to show up again, so if you're a little bit confused right now, don't stress about it. And then unravel yourself as you're ready. Stretch the arms up overhead, letting the backs of the knuckles rest on the ground. And then make your way to a seat. Go ahead, extend the legs out long in front of you. If you like a little bit of height under your sit bones, like a blanket, go for it. I'm tenting my finger pads, elbows move towards the back of my yoga mat, collarbones open up. You're trying to find the longest spine you can get here. Flare the toes. If you need more, you can start to straighten the elbows. Press down into the yoga mat. And notice the shoulders are going to want to roll forward like you're texting. Drag them back in space. Press down with the arms. I can even lift my sit bones up a little bit here, a millimeter. And you might need to temper and bend the elbows if that's a little too much. And then go ahead and cross at the ankles, roll over your knees, downward facing dog. First down dog of the class. If you want to do it with bent knees or start to rock forward and back a little bit, do that. Feel what you're feeling in this first down dog of the day for most of us. From your down dog standard, let your heels rock over to the right. You can do this with bent knees or down on your hands and knees if you need. Peer out under that left armpit. Press down and forward into the hands. Looking for some sideways stretch. And then go ahead, come back to center. And let the heels swivel to the left. Look under your right armpit. Hips high, press down and forward with the hands. Go ahead, come back to down dog standard. Left leg lifts up high behind you. Even squeeze your left glute, squeeze your left hamstring, so that's the back of the thigh. Let the right heel sink down. Look forward. Left foot between the hands. Release the right knee down. You're going to keep the hands on the ground or on blocks if you like. And let the pelvis sink a little bit. Find neutral in your spine. Find length. So the hips, from the right knee to the left knee is kind of on a diagonal angle. See what it feels like. If you lift that left thigh more parallel with the yoga mat, let the chest come a little bit closer to the yoga mat. So I'm resting my chest on the front thigh. Just a warm-up pose. And then hands come back to the yoga mat, downward facing dog. Plank pose. Let your heels swivel to the right, but you're keeping equal weight in both hands. You can again do this with your knees down, twist or no twist. Go ahead, bring heels back up towards the sky. Lean the heels over to the left. Keep pressing equally into your right and left hands. I have a tendency to hyperextend my elbows. Don't do that. Go ahead, bring heels back to center. Child's pose. And know that you can come to child's pose at any point in place of down dog or whenever you need a break. Downward facing dog. Feel your down dog each time you come into it. Squeeze the leg muscles onto the left leg bones as you extend the right leg up behind you. Notice the right hip might want to open up to the right for today's class. Let's keep it square. And then look forward. Right foot between the hands. Lower the left knee down. Bend into that right knee so the pelvis can sink a little bit. I'm just on like the very tip of my middle fingers. And then from here, lift that right hip up a little bit. Get longer in the spine, but the chest comes more parallel with the yoga mat. Breathe. Hands come down to the yoga mat. Plank pose. Let the heels drop over to the left. Try to keep your chest as square as possible to the yoga mat. Keep pressing into your knuckles, chest draws forward. What happens here usually is the shoulders want to move behind the wrist, keep them in line, heels up, and then heels drop over to the right. You're breathing. You're feeling. Toes back onto the yoga mat, hips up, down dog. And I usually like to look straight down between my arms, not back at my heels. Or if I look forward, it makes my rib cage want to pop out. So I'm just looking for neutral here. Squeezing leg muscles back towards your heels. Inhale fully. Exhale, plank pose. Lower just the knees down to the yoga mat. Okay, so first big back bend, puppy pose. Walk the hands forward. I'm trying to keep the hips above the knees. You can come either to flat hands or tented finger pads. Only lower down enough that you can stay engaged in your back muscles, so you're toning your back muscles. And the core, just like you were doing plank pose, is lifting up towards the sky. So navel towards spine. Some people, their chin, chest, forehead lowers down to the yoga mat. That's not happening for me today. Get super active in the arms. Be aware of how much tension you are or are not holding in your neck. And then make your way on to your belly, quad stretch. Right forearm comes across the top of your yoga mat, left heel to left glute. You can stay right here, reach back for your left ankle. If it doesn't connect, no big deal. If you can, squeeze it in. And release. Left forearm across the top of your yoga mat. Squeeze right heel in. Stretch back with the right arm. And however it works in your upper body to catch the right ankle. You can also do this with your chest flat on the ground, especially first quad stretch of the class. I'll admit I took class this morning, so it's not my first stretch of the day. All right, go ahead and release that right hand down. Hands by your low ribs. Squeeze shoulder blades together on your back. Lift the collarbones up. Baby cobra. Tone the triceps. If all of the curve or all of the crunches in your low back, consider lowering down, almost like you're doing those eagle crunches in your belly, and then lift up again. Tuck the toes under, downward facing dog. Let's do that one again. So go ahead, plank pose. Heels over to the left. Heels up towards the ceiling, heels over to the right. Heels up towards the ceiling, knees down. Heart, arms forward, puppy pose, second time. You're extending, you're not flopping. If you feel like your shoulders are at all overstretched, back off. Onto your belly, look forward. Left forearm across the yoga mat, the top of the yoga mat, right heel to the right glute, chest as high or as low as you like it. If this is pretty easy for you, start to think about pressing your tailbone down into the yoga mat. So we're lengthening that low back. A little bit tricky. Try to keep your right heel here. You're going to take your left arm. If your chest is up, lower it down. Left arm out to the left like an airplane. Bring the right arm out to the right. Bent right elbow, come onto your finger pads. So palm lifted. Left ear down. Roll onto your left pack. And if this right foot on the floor, right knee bent bothers you, do right leg straight. Try to get a 90 degree bend in that right elbow. As you stay here, you might have to walk the hand in closer to the face. Gently unravel yourself. Let's do the other side before we do our quad stretch. Right arm out to the right. Bend the left elbow, left hip on top of the right. On your left finger pads, right ear down. Notice in your body what feels this the most. You can draw your shoulder blades together a little bit more on your back if your shoulders are doing all the stretch. It might help to bring it into the pectoral muscles. And then quad stretch left side. So gingerly roll back onto your belly. Left heel to left glute. Catch it with your left hand. And chest as low or as high as you like. Right forearm across the top of your yoga mat. Find length in the low back. Tailbone stretches back and down. And then let that left foot release. Let's start in baby cobra. So hands by your low ribs, collarbones up. Squeeze the inner thighs, big toes together, pinky toenails swivel down. If this is a lot of work for you, stay right here. If you're ready for the next level, lift your hands up. Breathe into your low back. Collarbones broad, chest forward, hands by your low ribs. See how much easier regular cobra feels now, and then downward facing dog. Left leg up. Pressing equally into both hands. Look forward, left foot between the hands. Crescent lunge. You're welcome to release your back knee down if the breath gets choppy here. Try to get that left thigh parallel with the yoga mat. So I have to bend my right knee a fair amount to do that. Try to square off the hips. Broad across the low back. So if there's a ton of curve happening here, bend the right knee more, put more weight in the right leg. Straighten out that left leg. If you need less of a lever, you can let your hands come down to your hips. you need more intensity, keep the arms up overhead. Without locking out, ooh, I'm wiggling. Without locking out that left knee, hip hinge. Pyramid pose. And let the hands come down to the ground or blocks. Find a squaring of the hips. So feel your left sit bone pull back, right hip forward. Actually, let's do this. Bend the left knee and the right knee a few inches, and then press left thigh back, right hip forward. And then feel your sit bones root down towards your right heel and let the chest fall forward any amount. Bend the left knee. Right hand down or on a block. Left hand to the left thigh. Lift the right hip up so it's as high as the right. Squeeze the shins in towards one another, widen the inner thighs side to side, and start to rotate towards your left. Twist. Maybe the left arm stays down, maybe it stretches up. Collarbones broad. Lots of work in the legs. If this is enough for you, stay right here. If you like, side plank. You're going to roll onto the pinky toe side of the right foot. Walk the left foot about halfway down the long edge of your yoga mat. Squeeze that right shoulder blade in and up towards the ceiling. Maybe you could come up onto your left toes. Maybe that left leg lifts up. You're in twist, keep that right leg high. And then go ahead, come back down. Look forward, step the right foot in to meet the left, forward fold, top of your yoga mat. Bend the knees as much as you need. Lengthen the spine, halfway lift. Squeeze shoulder blades together on your back, broaden the collarbones. Hands come to the waist. Lift yourself up to standing. All right, come to balance on that left leg. I'll turn to face you. You're balancing on the left leg, eagle. The right leg comes over the top. You're welcome to let the right toes rest or wrap them behind the left calf. Goalpost arms, right arm underneath the left, hands to shoulders, backs of hands to touch, wrap, and then sit deep. Unravel. Feel all 10 toes on the ground again. Bring your awareness over to the right leg, bend the right knee. Left thigh hooks over top of the right, eagle on the opposite side. Goalpost your arms. Left arm under the right. You might want to find like a tone on your right glute. That might assist you in the pose. A little weight in the heel. And then slowly unravel yourself. Balancing on the left leg, kick your right heel towards your right glute, quad stretch. Left hand can stay at the left hip, it can stretch up. And you might notice that this like low back bend wants to happen. Feel the pubic bone move up towards the ribs. And breathe into the low back. Notice if the left hip wants to flop out to the left, hug it into center. Feel your right knee stretch back behind you just a little bit more. And lower that down. Once you've regained your balance, left heel to left glute. Hug right hip in. Left knee is at least in line with the right, or maybe back behind slightly. Can lift the right arm up if you like. Pubic bone moves up towards the navel, collarbone's broad. So you're trying to get your neutral spine here. And then slow and controlled, let it go. Fold over the legs. Lengthen the spine. Plant the palms, step back. Downward facing dog. You're welcome to pause here in down dog or child's pose, or glide forward to plank pose. Get really weighty in your hands and feet. Feel the chest press forward just like we did in our plank twists before. Knees up or down. Bend the elbows, tricep push-up down to the yoga mat. Keep the heads of the upper arm bones high as you curl up to Cobra. Pelvis keeps pressing down. Navel back. Maybe the chest lifts up a little bit higher. Claw the hands, and then make your way back to down dog. Right leg high. Keep pressing the left hip back. Look forward. Look so far forward that your right foot can float between the hands. Sink the left hip down a little bit, roll yourself up. Left knee bends, and then re-square off those hips. Broaden the back. Elbows straight. Feel your right foot press into the yoga mat. And then gently straighten out your right leg. Hug quads into center. Either hands at your waist or hands overhead. Start to hinge forward at the hip. Keep feeling the sit bones move back. Heart stretches forward. Square the hips and place your hands down as you're ready. If you need something more challenging, by all means, keep the hover. If all the weight is in your right toes, put a little more in the heel. Feel some buoyancy in the arch. Bend both knees, a couple of inches. Squeeze the feet in towards one another. Straighten out the right legs as you press the right hip back. And then hug left hip in. Should be some work. Notice if you get kind of short on one side of your waist or the other. Gently re-bend the right knee. Back knee can absolutely release down if you like. Lift the left hip up as high as the right, chest forward. So like we did in our warm-up, squeeze feet in towards one another, widen the thighs as you rotate towards the right. It's a lot of work to keep that left hip up. You can stay right here or side plank. So wherever you are, twist or side plank, left hip high, and maybe the right leg can lift up somewhere. Left shoulder blade hugs in and up. Full low back. Back to your twist for a moment, and then wide-legged forward fold, all 10 toes towards the long edge of your yoga mat. Walk the arms out in front of you like you're doing downward facing dog. So it's a wide-legged down dog. Pause and feel. Feel your shins hugging towards one another, widen the inner thighs. You can even press down and out through the knees as long as it's not painful. Walk your hands back in. You're going to turn your left toes out to the left a little bit. Speed skater stretch. So the hips can stay high, or you can start to sink the hips down lower. Let the right toes lift up towards the sky. And some of you can probably do this hands-free. I'm going to keep my hands down tonight. And then other side. Turn the right toes out a little bit. Left toes out a little bit. And start to sink any amount. So looking for some inner thigh, hip stretch. So you might be able to stay high and do that. Or you can start to come down lower. Haven't done a ton of hip and hamstring openings, so don't stress about where you land. And then go ahead. Come back to center, fold. Heel toe the feet in towards one another. Lengthen your spine on an inhale. Hands come to the hips. Press yourself up to standing. All right, so gonna look similar to what we did last time. Let's see, what do we got? Okay. If you want to stand at the top edge of your yoga mat, you can do that. I'm gonna stay up here, balancing on the left leg, eagle pose all over again. So right leg over the top, arms out to the side. Right arm underneath the left. Backs of the hands touch, double wrap if you like. Sit low. You can even let the arms come down to the chest and kind of curl in like that crunch shake we made before. So it's the reverse of a back bend. Lift yourself back up. Don't watch the instructor. She'll fall over and mess up your balance. You're going to stay balancing on the left leg. Fly the arms out. Quad stretch on the right side. Left arm up. Right knee back a little. And then this time, flare the right toes. Start to kick the right foot back. For a dancer pose that's not enormous, but something that gives you a little bit of opening in the spine. Kick the right heel up towards the ceiling. Squeeze the right thigh back, and then go ahead, bring it in. Pause. Bring one hand to your belly, one hand to your low back. Feel yourself breathe there. So that's usually the area that comes out of alignment while we're doing this. So feel what it feels like to fill up with breath there. Or with 2 feet on the ground. Asymmetrical back bends are very challenging. Especially when we're going from like tight and contracted to big and open. So, right leg down, left leg over, eagle. It'll be left arm under the right. And then crunch in like you did on your back. Tone the abdominals here. Feel the low back fill up with breath. Gently start to unravel yourself. Keep that toning in the abdomen as the left heel comes towards the left glute, left hand on the left ankle, right arm up. Root down through the right leg. Breathe, knit the low ribs back, belly button back, and then kick the left foot back. It's not going to be the biggest dancer pose you ever did, and the right leg's probably getting a little tired. Keep trying to square the hips, lift the chest up, press the left leg back, throat back, broad collarbones, left foot towards the sky, and then slowly out of it. Whew, hard work. All right, downward facing dog. Bend the knees, come down to seated. All right. If you have a hard time sitting, slide a blanket under your buns. So we're going to do a hands-free twist. So you're sitting in easy pose, which isn't always that easy. And then without using your hands, start to twist towards your left. So you're using your core to twist. Not the eyeballs, not the neck, the core. It might not be the biggest twist of your life. And then go ahead, bring the right hand down to the left leg, left fingertips behind you. Maybe it gives you a little bit more opening, but really tone the abdominals. So everything from the rib cage down is pretty well protected, and then you can find a little space, hopefully, in that thoracic spine, that upper back. Notice how much work this takes. You're going to keep this pose. Just lift your arms up. If you slingshotted back towards the right side of the room, notice that. Notice where your range of motion is tonight. It doesn't have to be a perfect twist. From here, come back to center. Eagle arms, left under the right. And whatever version you're in, just start to roll the elbows around, soften. And in the other direction. And then let the arms come down, switch the cross of the legs. Twist towards your right. Broaden the head of the right arm bone back behind you. Collarbones broad. Feel your sit bones really root down as you twist. Notice how much tension is or is not in your neck. Notice what the left leg wants to do. And you can stay right here. Or go a little deeper, bring your left hand to your right leg. Right fingertips behind you. Some of us are overdoers, overstretchers. So if you're an overstretcher, maybe don't use your hands tonight. Keep challenging yourself to use the strength. Feel your body here. Feel how much tone is or is not in your belly and your back. And then, if your hands are down, lift them back up. Try to keep the twist. Gently swing yourself back to center. Right arm underneath the left, eagle arms. Make circles with the elbows. You can let the chest and the back get into it if you like, or just keep it to the arms. And the other side. All right, give the arms a break. Lightning bolt pose. Take your toes, tuck them under you, and then sit back on your heels. Everybody's favorite. Try to spread your pinky toes down into the ground. And if you need to back in and out of this, go for it. Let's do left arm up, tricep stretch, bend the left elbow, right hand to the left elbow, open up. Notice if the low back wants to crunch forward towards your navel, navel back. Head back. Try not to change too much, just re-extend elbows straight, and then rebend the right elbow, left hand to the right elbow, tricep stretch on the right side. Head back, navel back, collarbones broad. Breath. And then go ahead, relax out of it. Let's come back onto our bellies. Give yourself room so you can stretch your arms forward. Both arms forward. Let's do palms facing one another. So thumbs towards the ceiling. Right heel kicks towards right glute. Another asymmetrical back bend. Reach the right hand back for the right ankle. Maybe this is enough for you. Feel the tailbone press down, pubic bone up towards your rib cage, which is now flat on the yoga mat. And then start to lift up any amount with the left side. Left leg can stay down, or the left thigh can come to hover. And then flare the right foot, flex the right ankle, kick the right foot back. So you're in a half bow, half locust shape. You're breathing. Keep toning the left hamstrings. Kick, kick, kick back with the right leg. And slowly lower down. You can wiggle the hips left and right a little bit if that feels right for you. And then check in. If that really bothered your low back, don't lift up as high. Find that crunch in the abdomen. And then lift from there. So let's try that again. So even here, puff up the low back a little bit. So it's like you're tucking your pelvis under. Arms forward, thumbs up, left heel in towards the left glute. You're welcome to stay here, or left hand back. Hug the left heel in towards the left sit bone, and then lift up, right arm, any amount, right leg up is optional. Notice if the right leg wants to turn out, keep it neutral. So right hip, right knee, right toes, all pointing down towards the yoga mat. No ballet dancer first position. Flex the left foot if you like, kick it back. I think that actually might make it a little bit less work. At least less work in the spine, more work in the legs. Right leg lifts up any amount. You're breathing. Kick, heel back. Spine long, both sides of the waist long. And then slowly lower down. Bring the legs into touch. Extend the arms back behind you. Keep them on the yoga mat. Palms down. And then, so this is a symmetrical back bend. This might feel easier. Lift the collarbones up. Lift the chest up. And you can palm the yoga mat forward towards the front edge, the short front edge of your yoga mat. Collarbones broad, shoulder blades together on your back. And we'll go ahead, lower push up to hands and knees. And we'll sway the hips side to side a little bit. If you want to make circles, or like cat-cows, whatever it is, just make it small. And then the last pose we're going to do, the last big pose we're going to do is we're going to do side plank again. And just like we did that half bow leg on our belly, we're going to do that in side plank. So it's Kapingjalasana. So you're welcome to do this. Here's the hard version. Right shin parallel with the long edge of your yoga mat, right hand down. My left foot is on the yoga mat, you can't see it. You can stay right here, lift the left arm up, and then I'll show you the top leg. So if you're going for full side plank, go there. And this might be enough. Really press into the right index knuckle and thumb, and hug the right shoulder blade up into your spine. Lift the left leg up, if you're interested in it. So you start in a quad stretch. Keep the right hip lifting high. Flare the left foot, flex the left ankle, left toes, kick it back. Feel the collarbones broaden, chest forward, shoulder blades squeeze, and downward facing dog or child's pose, you decide. If you have any questions before we do the other side, pop them in the chat box. And I'll do it facing away from you this time, just so that you can see what my back leg looks like. Any version of side plank will do. So left shin parallel with the long edge, left hand down. You're finding external rotation of the left shoulder, just like we did in our twist. Side plank. Hips high. Right heel towards the right glute, flex the right foot, keep pressing up, buoyancy in the hips, and then kick the right heel away from you to create a bow shape. Side plank as you're ready, and down dog. Bend both of your knees. Walk the feet out as wide as your yoga mat. Bend the knees deeply. Sit bones high. Straighten just the right leg. Rebend the right knee. Straighten just the left leg. And bend the left knee. Knees come down to the yoga mat. Flip over onto your back. Walk your feet as wide as your yoga mat. Cactus your arms like we started, and just let the legs windshield wiper left and right, back and forth. You can let your head go with it or keep the head steady. And eventually the motion will start to get a little bit smaller. And at your own pace, you can start to make your way to stillness with legs bent if your low back is talking to you after all that back bending, or straight if you're comfortable with it. Arms down by your side. Squeeze the shoulder blades together on your back for just one more moment. Let the collarbones slide out left and right. Got like a nice, you've got like the flat and curved graphic that they keep showing on the news. That's what you want your chest to look like. No spikes. And let your breath get soft. And feel your body at rest. Let your jaw soften. And for the next few minutes, if anything tries to call your attention away from your body, bring it back. So focus on the sensations that you're feeling right now, head to toe. Feel what your spine feels like at rest. Are there any parts that feel like they're gripping or that you can't access? You don't have to do anything about it right now, just notice. And bend your knees as it feels right for you and roll over onto one side. And press yourself up to a comfortable seat. Thank you all for practicing with me tonight on this Wednesday. I hope you all stay healthy and safe. If you have any questions at all, let me know. Namaste. Thank you for coming. Again, it looks like we're still in a few more weeks at least of virtual yoga, at least in New York State. So if there's anything you want to work on, please let me know and I'll make sure that I teach it. Also, May 3rd, Sunday, I'm doing a Zoom class that'll be a little bit of a gentler mindful movement flow. If you are a member of Balance, you can attend for free. Otherwise, it's $13. But I hope to see some of you there Sunday morning. And otherwise, happy Wednesday, everyone.